Hello and welcome to the Bookies. I'm your host, Ruby Jean, and today we're going to be awarding some of the best books of 2024. Guys, I pulled out my sparkly dress just for this, and I'm also realizing that is definitely not my color, and that's fine. I'm calling it the Bookies. That might change year to year, but Bookies just feels right. Now, it was kind of a dry year, so you're gonna see some repeat answers for today's Bookie Awards, but that's because some books just stood out from the others, and they deserve all the recognition, even if it means they get a bajillion awards today. We're going to be starting with the Edge of My Seat award, which basically means the entire time I was on the edge of my seat. And that is going to be going to the Scythe trilogy. Simply cannot believe how good these books actually were and how long it took me to pick them up. I am definitely going to be rereading these in the near future. The next bookie is called Serving Face. This is going to go to a book that I read this year with the prettiest cover, and that is A House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas. In other words, Crescent City 3. I mean, the detailing on this cover is just insane. I remember my jaw dropping to the floor and gasping for my life back in the summer of 2023 when they first revealed the cover of this book. Next, the Heartbreaker Award, and this one, without a doubt, goes to If He Had Been With Me. I read this book months ago, and it still breaks my heart if I think too long and hard about it. Next is the Best Villain Award. Now, this one might come as a shocker. This is not actually going to be a fantasy or dystopian series. I'm going to say 0 stars, do not recommend. This was one of the most hysterical, offbeat comedy books that I've ever read, and I typically don't enjoy apocalyptic comedy stories, but this one was just so fun and random, and the villain was absolutely hysterical, and I loved every single second of this villain's time on the page. Next is the Hidden Gem Award. This is a book that I wasn't expecting to love as much as I did, as well as I kind of found it on accident. I don't really hear people talking about this book, and it wasn't recommended to me. I just picked it because I thought the cover was cute and I like the author, and that is 1,000 Heartbeats by Kiera Cass. The most stunning and amazing Romeo and Juliet retelling that you will ever read. Next is the Best Character Arc, and there is only one series that I read that not had one, not two, but 3 characters who had amazing story arc plot lines all in one trilogy, and that is the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. I'm already counting down the days till I can reread that trilogy. Next is the book with the best vibes. That is going to go to the Belladonna trilogy, especially Book 3. Now, I did a lot of rereads this year, like a ton of rereads this year. Probably 15% of the 116 books that I read were rereads. So the most nostalgic reread award is going to the Harry Potter series. Not only the most nostalgic because it's the one that I read when I was the youngest that I reread this year, but for some reason, the books just really hit different this fall, and I am here for it. The next award is Ruby Jean's most read author, and with 12 books read this year, it is going to go to Sarah J. Maas herself. This next award I feel like is going to be a no-brainer for you. A new book that I read this year that I absolutely must reread in the future, Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. Speaking of Once Upon a Broken Heart, my new favorite author as of this year is Stephanie Garber, aka the person who wrote Once Upon a Broken Heart. Then, as you could probably tell by how this entire award show has gone, the best book that I read in 2025 was Once Upon a Broken Heart. Can you tell I have a new favorite trilogy? I don't know if it's obvious. Is it obvious? Thank you for joining me for the 2024 Bookies. You should check out my Reading Once Upon a Broken Heart vlog, where I read the entire series on spring vacation. And you should also subscribe so you get notified the next time I post a bookish video.